Joining us now is best-selling author and counseling therapist Barbara De Angelis. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, good to see you again.
All right, Barbara. What should a woman do if she suspects her husband's having an affair?
If you suspect your husband's having an affair, I think the best thing is to confront him. Because an affair, remember, is just a symptom of other relationship problems. It's not that everything is perfect except he happens to be asking other women out. So you confront him and say, I'm not feeling loved, we haven't had sex in 2 months, you're never home when you say you should be, and I think you're having an affair. Even if you're not having an affair, we have a problem in our relationship. See, that's the deal.
But men are taught almost in utero to lie about that sort of thing. He's not going to tell you the truth.
He may not,
no
but you know what?
Way.
Women lie to, we lie to ourselves as women. I have never talked to a woman who later realized her husband had an affair or her boyfriend had an affair, who didn't look back and say, you know, I knew. I knew, but I didn't listen to myself.
We are gifted with such instincts, and we ignore them so often.
We ignore them because we don't want to know. It's called denial. We don't want to realize there's a problem. We don't want to admit that maybe our marriage is in trouble. The longer you wait, the longer you don't admit it, the bigger the problem is. It's like having a tumor and you say, it's not there, I'm going to put a Band-Aid on it and pretend it's not there.
Well, when children are involved, too, I mean, it's a very hard issue. And I know Lisa wanted to make the point earlier that you're hired by women who are already suspicious. They're not...
This is pretty much the icing on the cake. There's been a lot that's led up to the point where these women have gone out and hired a private detective. It's not like they were sitting at home flipping through the channels, and since nothing was on, they decided, well, I think I'll call a private detective agency to follow my mate. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot that's led up to it.
There's a good reason for it. Well, Gary's in the audience right now, and he's talking to some women who've been burned this way. Gary?
I'll take us just a second here. Skip, you ready? Chip, I'm sorry. By the way,
Skip, Chip, whatever.
We may have been taught to lie in utero, but I'll tell you what we do. We leave a lot of great clues around.
Well.
You ever notice that?
Yeah,
how to connect the dots, so to speak? Anyway, let's go to Maxine Guerrero. Maxine, flesh out your story a little bit for us, would you please?
Well, my ex-husband cheated on me while I was pregnant with our child.
And what happened? I mean, how did you find out?
Well, his mistress confronted me 2 years later at the supermarket with my son in the shopping cart.
Why do you think she did that?
Well, actually, her marriage had gone sour. Her husband left her for another man.
Oh, so why should you keep your husband?
Right.
If that happened to her?
Her husband left her for another man?
Yes.
Her husband
So she was slightly
unusual.
Angry. Yeah. And what have you learned as a result of all this?
That women don't have to deal with that. There is life after infidelity. I'm remarried to a wonderful man. We're expecting our child together, and it's great.
Well, that's terrific. Barbara?
Yeah. See, there are a lot of warning signs that a relationship is in trouble. I talk about 20 warning signs that you're not getting enough love, or that you're love-starved, or that your partner's having an affair. And if you pay attention to those warning signs, if you learn about them, then you're not going to get in a position where it even gets to the point of the affair. Way before the affair, we were talking about this earlier, there's already signs that you're not getting attention, you're not getting respect, he's not really finding out what you need and want.
But isn't the vast majority of affairs, don't they happen around pregnancy or during the pregnancy or after?
Not necessarily. Some happen then, some happen when the kids get to be 3, 4, 5 years old. Some happen when there's a lot of tension that's built up in the marriage and you're not talking about it and you end up looking somewhere else. But they can be prevented if, especially women, pay attention, don't go into denial, learn those warning signs, and ask for what they want. And as you said, trust ourselves and not say it's not happening, and unless it smacks me in the face, then I'm going to pretend it's not there.
Okay. Gary?
Once again, say hello to Teresa Haskins. Hi, Teresa. Let's hear your story in full.
Well, what happened was that I did ask my husband, and he told me no. Okay? So it seemed like the more I searched, the less I found out, until the right time came along, and then I found the address, and then I called her up, and we met at a restaurant, and she told me everything I needed to know.
Whoa. And then why do you suppose she was so honest and willing to meet with you?
Because she was hurting just like I was. She loved him just like I did. So she didn't have anything to give up. So that's why she shared that with me.
See, the real question
Plus, I made her feel comfortable.
The real question is, something made her even ask. See, you know, she said, you don't wake up and say, I think I'll ask my husband if he's having an affair. Something told her. Maybe he wasn't loving her. Maybe she could feel the distance. I think women can feel another woman's energy around their man. I don't know about you ladies, but I think we just have a sense. It's almost like you can smell it. You know, something's funny.
Whose fault is it here? Is it We got a reaction on that one.
The women like that, and the men are going, I'm in trouble here.
Yeah, I know. We're what is it, beings of instinct. We really have a lot of that. Do you think that it's both, that it's the responsibility there is equal between the man and the woman?
I do. I think that one of the mistakes we make as women sometimes is think, I married a jerk, he cheated on me, I got rid of him, and that's the end of my problem.
But don't men sometimes, I mean, like it's the spur posse kind of phenomena where they just feel that it's a game and, you know, they can get a few more chips.
Some men do, but all those signs are there. When you meet a man, how he treats you, if he's looking at other women, if he treats you with respect, if he cares about working on the relationship, all those things are there. And if they're not there, you need to ask for them. A lot of us fall in love with a guy's potential and think he's going to change once I get him and once the ring's on. And that is not true. You can't fall in love with a man's potential. You have to
Zebras don't change their stripes.
Absolutely.
Teresa, did you see any of those warning signs?
Can you repeat the question? I mean,
Yeah, we were chatting here about what happened after she confronted her husband.
Did he look at other women in front of you? Did you have any of those indicators from him?
well, we probably did that. I mean, that's okay. People look. That's okay.
Well, it's one thing to look, and it's another thing to ogle.
See, there's two kinds of, I say there's two kinds of flirting or looking. One is when you say, that's an attractive person, and of course we all notice it. There's another thing when you say, gee, that's attractive, and the man kind of jumps out of his body spiritually, has a little affair for 1 second, jumps back in, and the woman says, you know, where were you for the last minute? And he says, well, I was just looking. But he wasn't just looking.
Now, Barbara and Sarah, Teresa talked to her husband, and then what happened?
Okay, I talked to him about it, and he denied it.
Right.
Okay? But I still had this funny feeling like the time from home or not being able to explain certain things and walking off without telling me where I'm going here. Not that I'm a nagging type of wife, but we do ask questions. So, and then I went, like I said, I went into, and I got the phone number, and then she told me everything I needed to know.
But then you confronted him, and you guys hashed it out.
Right, we hashed, I mean, it was to the point of him saying, arguing to the point, would you think I would do that?
Yeah, but then you,
That's always
the point
a good
is that
one.
she went back with her husband.
Yeah, I took him back.
And then he did it again.
Because I said, you know,
See,
well, people make mistakes. Okay, I'm going to be the Christian wife and try one more time. He did the same thing again.
You see, the problem is getting rid of the affair, saying, honey, I won't do it again, is not the solution. The solution is you have to literally recreate the marriage. If you have an affair, that means the old marriage, in a sense, has died, the trust has been broken. You have to get counseling, you have to do some work, you have to rebuild the relationship based on new values. You can't just say, if I promise not to do it again, we won't talk about it. That is the biggest mistake somebody can make.
Absolutely. Okay, we've got more to talk about. We have another lady in the audience. We'll be right back.